because I always forget. Always. I don't know what it is. Thanks, Chelsea. Okay, so how about any of those of you, well, before I say anything, it's nice to step outside of our comfort zone. It's nice to be stretched. That's when the growth happens. So how about some of you that shared today that you don't see yourself as leaders? Do you guys, I see you smiling there, Kara, do you guys have anything that you would like to share or say, or anything that happened today that was kind of cool or something you learned? You don't have to.
Well, I just wanted to say that I watched the video like, I don't know, like 5 times. I don't even know how many times I've watched it. And that was the first time I heard the analogy between being a leader and being a parent. And I'm like, what the heck? So I must have just needed to hear that today or something. And yeah, I just kind of clicked like, okay, maybe I am a leader. And then today, my coach, Allie, she messaged me and she went to Emerald. So yeah, I must be doing something. Hello. Right.
She just brought me my tilapia and asparagus. We got to put in late. It's going to get cold. Because you know me, I don't stop talking. That's why I'm trying to give you guys a chance now. Kara, that's awesome. No, it's funny because you had a paradigm shift, literally. And in the first paradigm shift group, I really focused on the definition of paradigm and all of that. And really, it's just, there's so many ways of seeing things. Just because we see it one way does not make it true, right? Or let me put it the other way. Because we see it one way, it does make it true, actually, because what we think about and see and think and say is our reality. We are creating our reality with what we think and what we say and everything like that. But just because we do, it doesn't mean it's always the best way for us, right? Because, like, there's someone that will sit right next to me and, well, I'll use Dr. Wayne Dyer, who passed away and stuff. In one of his books I was reading, he was talking to a lady who said, I get sick like 4 times a year, you know. He goes, well, that's funny. I'd never get sick. I haven't gotten sick in over 20 years. And she's like, oh, well, that's impossible. How do you do that? And he's like, well, I just know I'm not going to get sick. I believe I don't get sick. And she goes, well, I don't believe that or whatnot. And he goes, well, it's not a matter of who's right or wrong. I mean, you're right and I'm right. So how many times do you believe you get sick? Well, 4 times a year. Do you get sick 4 times a year? Yeah, I get sick 4 times a year. He's like, okay. So just because we think it and stuff doesn't mean it's always the right way. So Kara, like, you were thinking to yourself, hypothetically, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth or anything, but kind of what's coming across is that you had the thought process that you're not, say, a leader. And then you read that or watched that video, and all of a sudden your thinking changed to kind of another way, like, I actually am a leader. And I've been a leader for, how many, that's not your first kid. How old's your oldest?
My oldest is 9.
So for sure you've been a leader for 9 years. Did that come as a shock to you? So it's a paradigm shift, and that's why I call it paradigm shift, and I'll always call it paradigm shifting, because it's so powerful when you actually do have a paradigm shift in the way that you see yourself, or in the way that you talk to yourself, or the way that you see the world, or the way you see your potential, or who you are, and et cetera, and stuff. Anybody else want to share something? Thank you for bringing that up, Kara. I appreciate that. For those that have not been on previous Paradigm Shifters groups, I love a good uncomfortable silence. I am cool with it. So I'll ask a question. I'll just sit and stare at you guys, but not forever. I like to be uncomfortable. Okay, cool. We'll get started. Maybe I'll just have one bite of my tilapia first. So, a lot of the stuff that I want to cover has kind of come up. Usually what I do for the Zooms, you guys, the Zooms are the best part of the group. They're the most powerful. I think we learn more in a 45-minute, 1-hour Zoom than we do in a whole week of participating in the group. The participating in the group just builds us up and prepares us for the Zoom. That's why you'll see me so adamant about everybody being on the Zoom. It's just because the atmosphere of learning and stuff like that. It's not because of me. Again, I'm just the host. We're all in this together to learn together and help one another and stuff. So you can interrupt me at any point in time, but usually I'll have the Zooms based off of what we've shared, things I've seen, you guys comment on and learn from, etc. And a lot of it will come from my own personal development, and I'll try to tweak it into what we've been talking about and all that kind of stuff. And then sometimes I'll just go on a tangent. But I did want to start out with the leader thing, you know, and I know there's some of us that have kind of struggle with that they don't see themselves as leaders. Some see themselves as leaders or whatnot. So I think we can all still learn a little bit from this. But how do you become a leader? I believe we're all leaders, right? It's just how do you actually have that paradigm shift to where you can say and believe that you are a leader? I mean, does anybody have any ideas on that? How to become a leader?
I think you lead by example, of course. I mean, that's the first thing is, I mean, who's going to want to follow you if you're not doing what you're supposed to do? So I always have believed that you lead by example and others will follow.
Exactly. I agree 100%. So I believe also, like, how do you get a college degree? How do you get a high school diploma? All right, Peter said, my big one came when I realized that good leaders empower those who are following you. So while you may not be good at something, you can still lead others to reach their potential.
Yeah, I can't see.
No, you didn't interrupt at all. No, that's awesome. Empowering others. Very true.
I also think it's consistency. It's Samantha. My video's not working.
Oh, okay.
Consistency, and which is part of leading by example, and consistently show up for the people that you're leading or that you're trying to get together so that you're able to be held accountable, or they're all holding you accountable. It's all about accountability.
Awesome. And great points. And all of those are great points. And what I kind of want to talk about is what happens before you do all of those things. I mean, before you do all of those things, are you leading somebody if you're sitting, on your couch just watching TV every night and stuff? You have to put yourself somewhere where you are able to lead somebody, right? You have to put yourself in a position. You have to go out and, find people that will follow you. I was watching some other Simon Sinek. His last name's hard for me to say. Sniggett or whatever. Sneak. I was watching some of his other videos, and that's what he said. What is a leader? He's like, a leader is someone that has followers. Well, you can't have followers unless you put yourself in a position. You don't have to go out and search. You could be in a position where you can lead somebody, but you don't take that action to put yourself in that position, right? So, for example, who told me to run this group or to run these Paradigm Shifters groups?
Your wife? Just kidding.
That's a very good answer. But no, I just decided to do it. And
I was just kidding, by the way.
I know you were. But I just stood up and said, hey, I'm going to do this. The first time that I ran a challenge group, man, was that I failed miserably. The second time, though, again, I failed miserably. The third time, I can't tell you, even, up until now, I have challenge groups that just fizzle out in 8 days, and everyone's gone, and I cancel it because nobody's participating, but I failed a lot, opening groups up and challenge groups, and still do. But I feel that I get more actually out of these than anybody else. I really do. The growth that I experienced during these groups is phenomenal. It's phenomenal. And you put yourself in a leadership position. SOAR Nation, you guys can do this. I've told you guys in the past in these groups and stuff that you guys can say, hey, anybody, I'm going to start this clean eating challenge. Chelsea, my wife, and Chelsea Pearson. Chelsea posted a freaking awesome picture of her crazy 6-pack abs. And my wife said, okay, Chelsea, I need to take my my nutrition to the next level. She's just so, admiring Chelsea Pearson's abs. And so they're starting a clean eating nutrition for coaches. And Emma said, I want to be in it. So, you put yourself in. It doesn't have to be a Paradigm Shifters. It doesn't have to be a workout one. It could be an organizational one. Whatever comes natural to you, or if you're really good at it, reach out in SOAR Nation and say, hey, I'm going to start this group on organization, on how to organize your days, because you're really good at it, say. Start that. Put yourself in that position, because that's when you're going to be able to lead by example and empower people. But if you're not putting yourself in that position, you're not going to be able to exercise those skills, those leadership skills, that you already do have, right, Kara? You already have the leadership skills. You just haven't realized it, and you had that paradigm shift. So off the leadership thing now, does anybody have any questions on that? So, vital behavior, something that I hear from everybody. I've been a coach for, it's almost 4 years, and I will hear this forever. I know I will. But I'm overwhelmed, right? I'm overwhelmed. What I want to do is, if you do have those feelings or have had those feelings, I want to do kind of a challenge in this group with us. I really think where we all suffer the most is probably inviting. Invite, right? One of the 3 vital behaviors. I think for most of us, working out is fairly easy, and personal development is fairly easy compared to invite. Because a lot of us see invite, and the first thing we really think, especially new coaches, is typing out kind of a script that says, hey, I am running a challenge group where you buy an exercise program called P90X or Hammer and Chisel and you drink Shakeology, will you join my thing? And you send it to 3 people, right? A lot of people have that kind of thought process that's what inviting means. I wish Beachbody didn't call it inviting. I wish they called it building a one-on-one relationship with others,
Or connecting
with others, right? Yeah, exactly. You should be in the business of having conversations with people. It does not have to be about Beachbody, So I'm reading what Tricia, I have an amazing script that has been working wonders for me since December. Shall I share on the group? Yeah, go ahead and share that. You can do a post. No one will see it. I'll have to okay it, and then everyone can see it. So what I was reading or listening to personal development on the plane last night, and it was awesome because I just got to sit there and listen for hours and hours of personal development. And the Thank You Academy by Gary Vaynerchuk. It is such an awesome, awesome book. And he kind of talked about comparing, social media to an old, like 1800s small community, right? But he didn't go into a ton of detail on that. So, but my mind started running, like how awesome that analogy really is. Because if let's say you have 500 friends and stuff on Facebook, right? Well, you live in a town of, say, 500 people. And every time you are right in front of a post that somebody posts, it's kind of like you walking down the street of this small 1800s town, no technology, nothing, and you have this opportunity to interact with this person. What would you do? Would you just put your head down and just keep walking on by? You can. I don't know if you would. Would you look at them and say, hey, good morning? Or something like that. And I'm not saying, don't get me wrong. Let's just use this as an analogy, right? You don't have to, please don't do this. Everybody that posts something, say something on it. You don't have to. Because everybody that posts something on there isn't relevant for you to speak up and say something, right? Just like when you're walking down your town of 500 people in the 1800s and stuff, you're walking by somebody whose back is turned, he's bent over fixing his wagon wheel, right? And you're just going to keep walking. You're not going to tap them on the shoulder and say hi. So, yeah, it's not relevant every time to say hi to people when you're walking down the street. But it's a community that you're a part of. And if you really want to be involved in the community, because as Beachbody coaches, we need to be involved. We need to be creating relationships. So if you really want to be creating relationships in this small town, you've got to be talking to people. And you're not going to go just talking to people about, hey, I worked out today. Look at my meal I made. You don't have to just do that to be a successful Beachbody coach. In fact, it's fair to say you won't necessarily be a successful Beachbody coach if that is all you do, right? So when you're walking down the street and you see Mary Jo walking down past you, what an awesome opportunity to say, oh, Mary Jo, I love your dress. Where did you get it at? Right? And boom, that all of a sudden starts creating conversation right there. That's really how easy it is to invite, right? That's the invite. So let's throw out the word invite for the rest of this group and call it building one-on-one relationships with people.
Thank you. Do I say something out loud? Oh.
That's all right, Sharon. So I really loved that about him. Also, think about you as a storekeeper, store owner in this town, right? Say you opened up a store. and people are walking by. Do you think the people? Oh, see you, Matt. Good luck, man. So you're walking down the street, and a guy that owns a shop, he's hanging out on his porch as people come by. He's trying to stick a flyer, in their face and say $9.99. I've got I've got nice, great candles that smell great for $9.99. Or I've got some stickers you can patch on your arm. $10. $10. Come on in. I've got the best prices in town. You're going to literally walk on the other side of the street of that person. So don't be, that person. And I've seen it with other people in multi-level marketing organizations, and I've seen it in Beachbody. And I did it myself when I started. When I started, there were no rules, it was the Wild West. I just puked Beachbody all over the place. I mean, again, I failed a lot in this business over the 4 years. I've learned a lot because of those failures, but let's say you are a shop owner in this small community of yours that you're in, of say 500 people. It's obvious you wouldn't stand out throwing flyers in people's faces and screaming from your door, say, come on in. What if you did something like, it's a sewing shop, it's a fabric store for men and women, and you sew holes in pants for people in this town, and you hem clothes or whatever the case may be. And you kind of go out and during your daily activities, and you're in the grocery store or whatever, you start talking to people and say, hey, next week, just so you know, I am doing free button sewing and patch repairs, whatever, from 2 to 5. So if you've got anything, bring it by, and I'm going to do it free of charge, whatever it is, I don't care. And I'm going to teach anybody to do it as I do it. So if you've got young daughters or anything like that, bring them over and we'll sit down and I'll fix everything and I'll show them how to do it. And it's free. It's totally free. I'm not going to charge. It's fun. I enjoy it. Right. That's awesome. I would like to do business with somebody like that. And that's how you get started. That's how things get rolling. That's how you start building momentum, when you're bringing value, to people. And I would run a free challenge group, but Chelsea runs a free challenge group every single month, and I put people in there and everything. We tag team how we run things, but I would do a free 1 week group at least once a month. Because we get people from our free groups every single month signing up to coach, or signing up into the next challenge group and buying a challenge pack. So I would highly recommend bringing value to people outside of just a challenge pack. It doesn't have to be a free eating, clean eating group. It can be a free accountability walking 30 minutes group. It could be a mommy group for whatever. You decide and put it out there, but it's just a way to start building relationships. So think of inviting as building a one-on-one relationship, please. So this is something that came to me too when I was listening to my personal development, that I know that a lot of from Mike, I got up the courage today to offer a fit club to my local challengers. We'll see how it goes. Lauren. Cool. That's putting yourself in a leadership position. Absolutely. That's stepping outside of your comfort zone, because what if nobody shows up, right? What kind of a failure are you going to be? You know, that's I think that's awesome. Actually, my sister, she's a coach. She ran her first fit club, and she passed it around at her church. So many people said she was going. She went there early, set everything up. Nobody came at all, and she was bummed out. And she was telling me about it, and I said, "How awesome is that, actually?" Because now think of the power and validity you're going to have as a coach, talking to your new coaches who feel like they're failing, and you're able to say, hey, I know exactly how it feels, but I just kept moving, because when I did my first fit club, nobody came at all. But look at me, I'm still going. You can do this, right? So failure, I think, is awesome. I mean, the most successful people in the world are more successful than most because they've just failed more than anybody else. But also, you know, talking to people, creating that one-on-one or building that one-on-one relationship. It can be nerve-wracking. It can be, you know, oh, what am I going to say? They're going to think I'm a weirdo. You know, well, first off, just think if somebody reached out to you and said, like, hey, I saw your baby, Kara, the other day. What a precious little soul. I can't believe, you know, how fast time goes, or whatever. Are you going to be like, whoa, this person's a weirdo? No, not at all. You know, you're going to kind of it's going to kind of melt your heart, and you're going to feel good, and you're going to write something back, and that starts a conversation. So even though you're still nervous, you know, well, think about also what you're going to say. What are you going to say? You know, when you were in high school and you had a crush on somebody, you know, guy or girl, whatever it was, you know, say you had a crush on Joe, and just a really good-looking guy, cool guy, fun guy, makes people laugh and everything, and you've never really had a chance to talk or him get to know you or vice versa. Are you going to, you know, go up to him, build up the courage, and just say, hey, Joe, I've got this awesome workout program. Do you want to buy it, you know, or join a workout group with me? No, you're going to say something like, hey, Joe, I heard you on the morning announcements. You sound like a natural. Great job. That's it. You know, walk away, or wait to hear what he has to say. You know, he's not going to think you're a weirdo for saying he was pretty cool. So, you know, just approach it that way. What would make you feel good? So I think it's so much easier than we think to invite. We put so much pressure on ourselves. So really just look at it as building one-on-one relationships, because the more you do that, the better you're going to feel. I'll tell you what, when you're having these conversations, you're building these relationships, and you're starting to understand people, and they're starting to understand you, and then they see your fitness post that you did that day, and you're having these conversations, they're going to say, hey, I've seen you doing this a few times. That's kind of cool stuff. How long have you been doing it? And boom, the door's open. You start talking about it. That's why you need to be consistent in your posts and stuff every single day. A new coach should be posting 4 to 5 times a day. So anyway, I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense to everybody? How to approach inviting? Mm-hmm. Anybody have comments on that?
I do.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I'm just quick. I love the analogy about walking down the street. Because it's like, hey, you're not, it's not everybody. It's just people on your way. Yeah. That was great. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Good. No, I love that analogy too. Thank you, Gary Vandercheck. He does jab, 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 right hook also. It's a fantastic social media book. It says Mike's PC, but that's Lauren, right? I need that book.
I think
I would also. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that I would also highly recommend, if anybody hasn't read it, John Maxwell's Failing Forward. That was one of the books that I read last year that really kind of, for me, it was more affirming just because I've always kind of continued to push forward no matter what. But it also just kind of, like you say, it kind of gave me that paradigm shift of kind of realizing just how strong I am. Because for many years and through all kinds of different struggles, you know, I always compared myself to other people and, you know, questioned whether I was good enough or strong enough or, you know, whatever, even though I did keep going. But that book was a really big pivotal moment for me. So I would highly recommend that to anybody.
Yeah, I think Failing Forward is a must read for all coaches.
Yeah.
Someone else was trying to.
I think it was Sue.
Oh yeah. So I was just gonna say, like when you were saying, you know, building one-on-one relationships, and I just kind of feel like with Facebook and social media, like you can only go so far. And so like when you were just saying like, hey, you're walking down the street, you know, just to connect with other people. Because for me personally, I feel like I've hit a brick wall with just like, I have invited everyone I know on Facebook, you know, hey, do you want to come join my challenge group? Or, you know, and I just feel like I've hit a brick wall with that and I just need to branch out. So making those one-on-one relationships and connecting with other people besides Facebook, I think will be huge. And it's just more opportunities.
What does that mean? Oh, go ahead.
I think that, you know, the whole inviting thing is great, you know, with the, you know, the personal conversations, because I think, you know, I kind of do that too, where I'll, you know, invite them to a challenge and then I'll check on them again and invite them to another challenge. And I think, I don't know if the word challenge scares them, but just having more of a personal conversation, like you're saying, I think that's something that I could work on as well. And, you know, and I keep doing my posts, and eventually, like this week, my messages blew up, and I'm hoping to actually hit Success Club this month for the first time, so I'm pretty excited. And
Awesome. Congratulations.
I'm just right by your neck.
I think building that personal foundation with that person to begin with, it makes them think that you actually care and you're not out to try and get them to join your challenge group, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is that you do care. I mean, you do care. For the ones you even do invite and you do it wrong, you do care about them, but that they don't get that. They don't get that. They think you're trying to make a buck.
Yeah, and that's exactly when you kind of pursue it that way. They're like, oh, she just wants to sell me something.
Yeah.
I feel like that when you just said that, it ties into that video you posted today. Like, I feel like if you're gonna treat someone, if you're gonna set the example and be a leader, not even necessarily with like Beachbody, but in general, they're gonna look to you as someone like, oh, hey, I can trust that person, or I can look to that person for whatever, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, I do.
And so they're not going to think of you, oh, she's just trying to get me to buy a challenge pack, or she's trying to get me to join her group, or, you know, something like that.
Yeah, I had a girl reach out to me today. It was strange. I actually haven't talked to her since second grade, which was really weird. She found me, you know, she'd been following me on Facebook for a little while, and she messaged me the other day and asked to join my free clean eating challenge, and you know, she wants to learn how to eat and has been kind of watching me post my meals, and it was really cool to actually, you know, for her to reach out to me. I was pretty surprised actually, and she has been in my group.
I keep pushing this.
Hold on a second here, guys. I'm trying to drive. anyway, so I added her to my 2-week clean eating challenge group, and I'm posting in daily video workouts where I'm actually doing 15-minute circuits for these people every day, 5 days a week, so that they can start somewhere and feel that I'm helping them without having them, to buy something. This group so far has 32 people. I'm really excited for this group and hoping it'll go even further.
Awesome.
It was really cool to hear from people. It's just neat when people reach out to you that, and it's just cool when you don't expect them to come to you. It's like somebody that I haven't talked to, we weren't really friends anymore. And she was kind of mean to me, actually, back in school. So it was kind of weird for her to reach out to me. So it was, it made me feel good knowing that she's like, okay, she did this. She went from having 2 C-sections to actually doing a fitness competition. That inspires me that she can help me. I'm not going to go get surgery and get a gastro bypass because that's what she wanted to do. And I said, let's start somewhere. You don't have to do that. She's exactly where I was at 270 pounds.
Yeah.
So,
did you guys hear that? So Summer Adams, we've got a rock star in our group. She's lost over 130 pounds in the last 2 years, had 2 C-sections, and a few months ago she competed in a bikini fitness competition.
I never thought in my life I would get up on that stage. It was weird, but I did it.
Yeah, it is. It's so cool to see that. And Summer also, it's unbelievable the stories that I've heard from her and that she shared. I've been lucky enough that she found me and signed up underneath me a little over 2 years ago now. And man, I cannot believe how many people she has helped. And she's got people that have joined her challenge group that have lost just so much weight. Have you helped people lose like over 100 pounds?
2 of my Shannon Klein, she lost 70, and then she's also a fellow coach of mine. And then Carrie, eventually I'm going to get her in there. She sends people to me, but my friend Carrie lost over 145 pounds. And she keeps seeing me. She comes to the gym twice a week with me, and she's starting back in her T25, so she's getting back in the groove. But she's continued to keep going and never given up, and still reaches out to me, and it's cool. I'm training her son as well. I'm helping him. I became a personal trainer, so I got certified for that. I'm going back to school to get my nutrition science degree and actual training degree. Right now I've just got an online cert, but in Idaho we don't have to have a degree to be a trainer, so it's kind of neat. So I'm trying to take it further, with helping people. And I basically have been training a lot of people for free. I give them 5 free sessions, and then I do what they can afford. So they're not paying $150 a month. I'm like, hey, what can you afford? And let's do this. And I'm taking my time, to help them.
Awesome.
And to me, I know it'll pay off in the long run.
It will. It is paying off. I mean, the growth that you've had is awesome. Peter over in Canada, he wanted you to know that the chat is blowing up about congratulations, wow, inspiring, awesome, of what you've accomplished, Summer. So thanks for sharing. I appreciate that.
Right on. Thank you. You guys can do this.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So I have been wanting to do a free group. I do a lot of clean eating ones, and they're kind of picking up. But I wanted to do one that doesn't involve clean eating or fitness. I'm a TWOS teacher, and I have potty trained Minnie, and I've been getting a lot of questions about it. So how would I turn that into going from like a potty training, 5-day group tips and stuff to a challenge group?
Awesome.
That sounds interesting.
What's that?
So that this could be interesting. And what you're gonna say. Go ahead.
Oh,
A lot of mommy friends, so like I've been getting it's like maybe it could help them. I don't know. That's connecting.
That's
yeah,
a
no,
good.
that's
really
what it
good
is.
way to
It's all
go.
about connecting with people. It's
Right.
they're going to friend request you, you know, and then you're going to start seeing the posts that you also do with Beachbody, but within the group, the potty training one, you have created a relationship of trust, right? And they're not going to ever buy from you Beachbody products. They're going to buy you.
That's right.
Going to buy you. And there has to be that level of trust before they will buy from you. That's why you can go to your brother or your mother right when you sign up and say, you're buying this challenge pack, so just buy it. Because there's that trust there. You can do that, right? But yeah, nobody's going to buy products from you because they can buy the products on Google. They can buy it on teambeachbody.com. They can buy it from 400,000 other coaches. They can pretty much buy any of that stuff anywhere. But when they buy it from you, it's because of you, and it's because of a relationship of trust that you've had. And that did not come because you were waving a flag around saying you have these products to sell.
Okay.
It came from, running groups like that, bringing value, to people's lives. It's you do something you love, do these groups that you love, and participate in these groups that you love, like Kara does. She does a great job of that. And you're able to create these relationships, these one-on-one relationships. So don't sell anything in these groups. Don't even talk about Beachbody. Just build a relationship. They friend request you. They're going to be seeing your posts. If you're consistent, and you have to be consistent after you build a relationship of trust for this to work, for them to reach out to you. You have to be consistent in your posts. That's key.
Yeah, and I need to get better at that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, so I wanted to kind of go back to the personal development side of things, and talk about our self-talk, our self-belief, and so many of us struggle with negative self-talk, or defeating thoughts, or who was it? Comparing myself to others. Is it Janelle or Janelle?
Janelle.
Janelle, okay, I wanted to make sure. You see the name, but you never hear it. Janelle, I think you said it, comparing yourself to others. Was that right? Did you say that? Okay.
Yeah, I did.
So we do, we have these thoughts. We do compare ourselves to others. Remember, and I've said this before, that when we do compare ourselves to others, we're comparing our worst to their best. Especially if it's somebody that you're seeing on social media, because on social media, we're putting our best self out there for the most part, right? Like, I take bad pictures, but I don't post those bad pictures. I post the good pictures, right? I'm smart about it. It's a business. I really am representing a business. So I'm not going to be putting up bad pictures of myself for sure. So yeah, we do represent ourselves, and we tend to start seeing others and we're like, whoa, you're comparing your worst to their best every time you're comparing yourself to somebody. Right? And I've done it. I've been guilty of it. And every single one of us on here has been guilty at some point in time of comparing ourselves to others. So, don't do that. And that is what's happening in between here. So what I totally just it came across. I'm on the plane. I'm listening to personal development. I didn't hear this, but it's what I got out of it was be a scientist with your thoughts. You know, study what you're thinking. Be aware of what you're thinking when you're not thinking, right? So really pay attention to your thoughts. Here's an example, and this is actually what made me think of this. So I'm sitting on the plane. It's one of those small planes, and there's this this guy. He comes in. I have the aisle seat, and there's a window seat. There was just only 2 seats, and he comes in, and he needs to get past me. So I stand up. He's smiley. I don't think he spoke very much English and stuff. He was Hispanic, so he didn't say much. He kind of nodded and smiled and stuff. He just seemed like a really nice guy. He was short and really stocky, and these seats aren't that big and stuff. And he passes out right away, and his elbow is totally on the other side of the rest. And to me, when I don't know, when rubbing up against strangers, and like when it's just skin to skin or whatever, it's really weird to me. I just uncomfortable. So here I am sitting like this, right, listening to my PD, my personal development, thinking, this is ridiculous. This guy is so annoying. What do I do? Do I freaking? He's making this so uncomfortable for me. What? All this kind of stuff. And then I realized, here I am listening to personal development and thinking totally negative. Right? And I thought, okay, here's a chance for me. I literally thought this. It's probably because I've ran now, up to these three paradigm shifters groups. I go, how can I shift my paradigm about what is happening to me right now? So I just sat, back, and I put my arm up where it was comfortable, and it was right up against his. And I just started thinking that, you know what? If I had a chance to get to know this guy, I would back him in a fight. He would be a buddy, I bet he's such a cool guy and so nice. He would be somebody I would like to invite over to dinner, at my house. I bet he's just that type of guy. 5 minutes later, the whole plane ride, it didn't bother me that he was touching me. It was kind of like a really good friend of mine was, sitting next to me. So I had a paradigm shift. I dissected what I was thinking. I was thinking negative thoughts, and so I started dissecting it. What's even harder, though, you guys, than that is your subconscious thoughts. What are you thinking subconsciously? Because if you haven't read a lot of personal development books, the more you read, the more you're going to learn that our reality is created, not what we're thinking, but what we're thinking subconsciously, right? Mm-hmm. What our true belief system is. And it's hard to put into words how to, think and dissect your subconscious thinking. So that really is the key, though. I want to challenge you guys to, at least for the next 30 days, to be scientists of your thoughts. Really pay attention to them, study them, and say, I wonder what would happen if I did this experiment, with my thoughts, if I tried this. If you're in a negative situation, just think, what kind of experiment can I do with this? What kind of a paradigm shift can I have with these thoughts? Because I know this is a crappy situation. I'm really ticked off about it, but there are other ways to think about it. Even though you might not want to at the time because you're so ticked off, do it. Just do it. Dissect it. Challenge yourself to dissect how you're thinking. For example, I've done this a lot, and I've come a long way. I've come a long way from major alcoholic and everything, and changing depression and all that stuff. I've come a long, long, long way. So before, man, road rage was not very good for me. You know, I have worked on that for years. Because just everybody was just such a stupid driver, right? And I was the only good driver out there. But now when somebody say, what used to drive me nuts is when somebody would drive really slow, and I'm like, go, 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 you know, and they're driving slow, and then a yellow light kind of goes, and they speed up, and I can't make it, and I have to stop, right? And it used to be just like, I'd lose my stuff. I would be so upset, and what a dork that guy is, or whatnot. Not those words, but now I tell myself every single time that had to happen, because there are things that I don't know about that if I actually was going faster and did make that light, somebody could have come out and T-boned my car with me and my children and my wife in it. But God put that person in front of me to stop me, right? So that's how I start to think about things now. When it comes to my road rage, you know, trying to work on that. Or I'll say when somebody cuts me off that I remember that one time when I didn't see the guy in my blind spot and I cut him off, and he must have been so mad at me. I've done that before too. You know, I've done it before too. How can I be mad at the guy? I've done it before. So it really has been oh man, my blood pressure's gone down because of that, and everything. It's freedom. It's a weight off my shoulder when I'm able to think of it that way and have that paradigm shift. So I use that as an example, but I want you to think of an example where you have maybe a hard time thinking of things, like Janelle, you know, saying that sometimes you might be comparing yourself to others, or Kara, even though you've had that paradigm shift that you are a leader, you might need to work on your subconscious belief system, because for years now you've been telling yourself that you're not a leader. And just because you had that paradigm shift right now, today, doesn't mean your subconscious believes it yet, right? It's going to take a lot of work.
I still have to tell myself that every day.
Say that again, Janelle, sorry.
I was just going to say that, like, even once I kind of had that paradigm shift several years ago, that's still something that I have to continually tell myself each and every single day. Because like you just said, you know, it was a belief that I had for so long that, you know, it's like, you know, you're investing in yourself, and you're kind of like making those deposits in yourself that you're actually going to be able to believe it one day. You know, it's like trauma. You have trauma, and you spend so many years with physical therapy and all kinds of other therapies, and it takes a long time to heal. You know, those things, those negative self thoughts that we put in our brains.
You know, it's so true. It's everything, you guys, in life, and we're gonna have to get off here soon because it's been a long time, and I think Sharon is freezing to death over there. But no, Janelle, seriously, you're absolutely right. That think about it when it comes to working out. It takes a long time to get to that point to where you're like, wow, you know, I've hit my goal. Now I just need to sustain where I'm at because I've hit my goal and I love it and I'm proud of it, you know, my body and stuff. But that took countless hours, countless mornings of getting up in the, you know, to do your workouts and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, it took a lot of work to get to that point to where you really are strong mentally about how you see yourself and your body image and things like that. Raising a family takes a ton of work, but the rewards are gigantic. And one thing too, just to Janelle, to totally compliment what you said, think of a pendulum, right? You know, like you put on a piano or whatever. Or no, it goes this way, yeah. So let's say over here is success and over here is failure, struggle, and all of that kind of stuff, right? Well, if the pendulum is swinging like it's even, right, on each side, how it swings, it's even on each side. So you experience this much failure and pain and agony, you only can experience this much pleasure, bliss, freedom, joy, right? If it swings
I like that.
this much more into pain, struggle, challenge, uncomfortable situation, you're able to experience that much more. And I promise you that there is opposition in all things, which I look at as polar opposites of anything, right? So happy, sad, right? And it's just the bittersweet thing. You cannot taste sweet if you don't know what bitter tastes like, right? You don't know that it's sweet. You're eating sweets and you're eating it and it's sweet, but you don't know it's sweet because that's all you know. That is all you know because you've never tasted anything else at all, right? So you have to taste bitter to be able to really understand what sweet is. So it's the exact same thing with challenges and everything in life. And like I said earlier, the most successful people are the most successful people because they've failed the most. And that includes they've gone through more challenges. They pushed themselves into uncomfortable situations because we only see, their glory. We don't see all their hard work and their pain and the agony that they go through to get to the top. It's like stacks of paper. If you want to have a stack this big, you see the final product and like, wow, that's an indestructible stack of paper. I could never just tear it or anything like that. And it's strong and it's, you can't, like a phone book, it's hard to tear or whatnot. But what we don't see is how that was built. One teeny little piece of paper at a time, right? So anyway, think of that too. Great. Thanks for bringing that up, Janelle. But if it's hard, just know that there is that much equal pleasure and awesomeness waiting you. The harder it is, the more awesome it is, literally. I promise you that. And that's what Beachbody's so cool, that it does create these opportunities for us to realize I'm in a hard situation right now. Cool. I'm growing, right? Before, all this kind of stuff and personal development and all that, I'd be like, crap, I'm in a bad situation. Woe is me, right? I didn't grow from that. I didn't grow from being prideful or any of that kind of stuff. I learned how to be vulnerable here through Beachbody. Beachbody provided the platform for me to be my greatest self. My best self that is constantly improving purposefully. And I hope you guys, do that. And I hope you guys take full advantage. You guys are taking full advantage. Thank you for being on the call. I appreciate it so much. Let's keep tagging our success partners. I challenge you to have conversations with them, build that one-on-one relationship with them. I promise you it could be a long, long-lasting friendship. It really, really can. Peter and Matt are awesome examples. I mean, they have these huge feeds going, and just it's really positive, and they're just loving all over each other and supporting each other and stuff. And I'll tell you what, they get up in the morning and that's who they're thinking about first is, Peter's thinking about Matt. It's like, I better get my workout in today for sure because Matt's going to ask me if I got my workout in, right? So the more you work with your success partner, the more accountability you're going to feel. And that's why I assign it, because me as a host, I could not at all come close to touching you guys that much. And if I don't respond to somebody's awesome comment or anything like that, it is not because I didn't want to or anything. It might be because I really didn't see it. Because look at today's feed. I mean, that thing is gigantic. So I seriously thank you guys for that. Thank you. I love reading it, and it's awesome participation. Let's keep it going strong. And remember, the week of posts and comments and everything is leading up to tonight, these Zoom calls. So write down things if you do want to talk about them in the beginning and bring them up, because, again, I'm just the host. I'm not your, upline coach telling you what to do at all. I'm just trying to facilitate a place for us to learn and be stronger and stuff. So with that, I will say good night, you guys. I love you all. See you later.